Well, hello and welcome to CBM Calling. Today we are celebrating Active in Mission 2021. Active in Mission is an annual event where we at CBM identify a specific need in one of the many areas where we work around the world. And we invite individuals, families, youth groups, churches to increase awareness about the issue and to commit to getting active in a creative way to raise funds for the cause. If you remember back to 2020, if you were involved with Active in Mission, we raised funds for latrines in El Salvador, and we were blown away by the response and by the amount of funds raised. So for this year, Active in Mission 2021, we have focused on education. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly affected education. We know this. We've felt the effect of it here in Canada. At the height of the pandemic, over 90% of learners worldwide were actually out of school. And so we know this here at home, but the pandemic has certainly magnified the education-related challenges that children face in the global south. At CBM, we partner to provide education in 8 countries, in Bolivia, in India, in Rwanda, Lebanon, Myanmar, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, and the Philippines. And this is everything from supporting schools to tutoring and literacy training, to homework clubs, to preschool education centers. These are all rooted in the local church. And we are working to ensure that children have access to education and hope in a bright future. And once again, this year for Active in Mission 2021, we are blown away by the response from individuals and churches. We set a goal of $30,000, and we have actually doubled that goal. We set the goal of $30,000 based on the amount that we raised the previous year, not based on the need for our funding for those programs. So doubling it is certainly a huge help. And that is thanks to each participant and each donor. We were not only blown away by the amount of money raised, but also by the creativity and the engagement. And to celebrate what we mean by that, we have 2 guests joining us today from Douglas Baptist Church in New Brunswick, a church that raised over $4,000 and got active in some really fun ways. So I want to welcome Peter Moore and Ellen Brewer. Ellen is the coordinator of the missions team at Douglas Baptist, and Peter is the lead pastor there. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today on CBM Calling.
Thanks for having us, Louise.
No problem. Peter and I actually first met over a decade ago when we took part in a pastor's sent trip to Argentina and Bolivia, I believe it was. I can't believe that was a whole decade ago.
Yeah, we were like 18, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was barely allowed to fly for sure. So we haven't aged at all. Before we jump into what you did as a church, first, actually, tell me a little bit about what each of you did individually, because I know you did a lot of creative things as a church, but I'm also really impressed by what you did on your own for Active in Mission. So can you just tell us really briefly about that?
Yeah, so I guess for me, I was planning a family vacation to Prince Edward Island, and then we decided we were going to do Active in Mission. So I decided during this family trip that I would bike the Confederation Trail tip to tip. So it's 273 kilometers. So I decided to take that on and do that during our time there. And it was really fun. I had a great time, only one day pouring rain, so that's always exciting when you can get to bike mostly in sunshine. And I was able to have one day my dad biked with me, and another day my mom biked with me, and then another day actually a friend from church here, she was over there with her family, and so my friend Daisha and her dad and her cousin, they biked with me one day as well. So it was really fun to have lots of people kind of become engaged in the project with me, and I get to spend time with them as well.
And I guess I did some cycling as well. I'm just trying to get rid of some of that COVID excess, you might say. And so I've been doing some running, walking, cycling, but I had a friend of mine, a colleague here in the area, Mike at Hannem Community Church, and shout out to them. They were part of Active in Mission as well. And Mike reached out to me and he said he wanted to do 60 kilometers, and it had something to do with his age. And that's all I'll say about that. But he wanted to do 60 kilometers on one day. And so I said, I'm in, I'll do that with you. And so that's one of the things. And then we did many other things with our church, but that's one of the things that I did. I actually biked over to see him and then biked home afterwards. So I actually did 100 kilometers on that day. But anyway, that's we weren't competing. And if we were, it was all for a good cause. So that's kind of some of the things
And
that we
you
did.
won, so.
No comment.
That's amazing. As I saw your posts and was tracking along with you, I am blown away. Just so impressed by your dedication to this and just your sheer physical ability to bike that far. I'm sure there are, many people who haven't even driven tip to tip on PEI. So the fact that you biked it is incredible. And I mean, over 100 kilometers, Peter, that's wild. So set the context for us in your community at Douglas Baptist. Tell us about your church.
Well, Douglas is just right on the outskirts of Fredericton, actually. So that would probably be the capital of New Brunswick, of course. And so we're just on the outskirts of Fredericton. We'd be a little bit more of a rural, but it's really a suburb of Fredericton now. And so the church has been here for a long, long time, early 1900s, as much as we can figure. And right from the get-go, I've actually done some research on the church as I've been pastoring here. And right from the get-go, you can find evidence that this church in Douglas, and I would call us a medium-sized church for New Brunswick anyway, but right from the get-go and some of the research I've done about our church, this church has been trying to support missions from the very beginning. And I've read some things in some very early records that suggest they were collecting pennies and collecting whatever they could to support local and global missions as they understood it. And so we've got that history here in Douglas, and it goes way back and it continues to grow. We've had missionaries that have gone out from the church. Lynn and Hannah Stairs were a big influence on my life. And so just thankful for them, and they're gone on to be with the Lord now, but they were a part of Douglas for many years. And even when I came to be back to be pastor, they were big influences in my life. So the church has always been a big supporter of missions financially, but also, doing things as well. And most recently, as you would know, Louise, but we've got into a step partnership as well with the Dominican Republic. And so that was another motivation for us, because we noticed that one of the countries that was being helped by active admissions and this Educating Kids initiative was Dominican Republic. So that's another reason why we wanted to get involved this year. And so we were really excited. We were blown away. Ellen and I this is Ellen's kind of dream to get involved in this. And we didn't know quite what to expect. And we set a goal too. And, we exceeded the goal that we set and then some. And so we'll put another check in the mail to you folks at CBM coming up real soon for that. So it's just been a blessing for us as a church to be a part of it.
Thank you. And certainly, yes, we have appreciated your step partnership with our partners in the Dominican Republic. And so I do understand that was a really key factor in your church jumping on board with this. Are there other reasons why you took part in active admission this year?
I guess there was two parts to it. Because of the Dominican Republic, we were actually supposed to be going on our Sent trip this summer, and obviously that was canceled. So we wanted to it was great to have an opportunity to have focus on the Dominican Republic this summer, since we weren't able to go down. So we wanted to make sure that our week in active admission really did have a focus with DR. And so just our goals in that sense, we wanted them to be specific to that country. And so our goal for moving, I guess, we had a goal that we wanted the church collectively to walk, run, bike, whatever they did, 386 kilometers, which is the distance of Dominican Republic from east to west. And then our secondary goal to that financially was to raise $3,860, so $10 for every kilometer that we were active in. And so that was what we set out initially. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't quite sure, because we hadn't really done anything quite like this. So I was like, it's manageable. Like, we'll maybe get it. Douglas they're so generous. And so we've actually exceeded, almost doubled that. We're at over $6,000 at this point, which is amazing. So that was kind of the one side that we really wanted to be specific to Dominican Republic and to help us be mindful of that partnership. And then the other side of it was just getting people active. We really thought that was super important for this summer, especially things in the Maritimes started opening up a bit, so people were able to gather kind of outside safely. And just this year, there's been so kind of that lack of like physical fellowship. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to really engage the church and give them opportunities to get back together in safe ways and to be able to engage in like healthy living lifestyles and help with their physical, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, right? So we saw that as a great opportunity to do active mission as well. So
interestingly enough, our Active in Mission celebration event, which was a softball game, church picnic, it was the biggest event because of the way things worked out and things opening up. It was the biggest event we've had in a year. So when we gathered to party and kind of celebrate what God had done through that week, and we got together and had a softball game with kids and adults and young and old, and it was like the atmosphere was just amazing because of, yes, active in mission, but just the fellowship side of it too. And so, I mean, there was really three focuses for us. There was we wanted people to get educated. We wanted people to get active and get out and connect with each other. And we also wanted people to give, and they just all came together in a beautiful way.
And we are so honored to be a part of your biggest celebration this year. That's just beautiful and really unique. And yes, your church has been so generous. So thank you so much for that. So you mentioned the softball celebration at the end. What other events did you do, or what are some stories? Tell us what happened actually during that week.
Well, we had a walk with the DBC staff. We normally have staff meeting on Monday morning. So I told the staff to bring their sneakers, and we have a trail right across the road from the church. And we just let everybody know that, hey, we're doing this. And it wasn't a good morning at all weather-wise. It was raining and kind of that type of thing. So we were like, well, I told our staff we're going. And anyway, ended up we had people join us. We had families, we had strollers, we had moms, we had dads, we had grandparents. And so we had a nice little gathering that Monday morning, even though it was raining a little bit. And yeah, so we did that. A lot of people did it individually. That's the other thing. So we had the community aspect to it, but if people were away on vacation, we had on our website that people could let us know that they were completing kilometers. And so we had one family, for example, they were away on vacation, but I would get a note from them through our online form. Every day I get a note from them, and they had gone swimming, or they had gone walking, or they had been puddle jumping with their little toddler. And so they clocked their kilometers. We can do that nowadays with Fitbits and Google Map and all that thing. And so, people were engaged even if they weren't here, and even if they were on vacation, they found ways to engage. So that was kind of fun too.
One day, me and my little sister were at Shining Waters, and so we were active in mission on water slides for the day. So
rough.
It was a hard life.
That totally counts, though. It all counts. It's one of the things we love about this initiative is it really is meant to be fun. It is meant to bring people together in a really fun way to do things that, maybe we don't normally do at church, like play softball and go down water slides, but things that we should be doing at church, I think. So I'm so glad that you've had a lot of fun with it. And so glad too that your church has learned some important things about the work that we do, not only in the Dominican Republic, but in the 7 other countries where we're supporting these education related programs. We've done a couple previous episodes of CBM Calling where we've really looked at some of those places where we've been working and heard the stories and the success and what's happening, and also the challenges of what's been happening, especially through the pandemic, with our kids who are out of school and struggling to do online learning and what all of that has looked like this year. So thanks for being creative, and thank you for just jumping in with your whole church, your staff, families, just getting everybody engaged in this way. And as you said, Ellen, we are too sad that your trip to the DR, your Sent trip had been canceled, but we're so glad that this was a way that you could continue to keep that in the forefront of people's minds. When we can't travel, it almost seems like these places are so much farther away, but they're not, and the needs are still great. So thank you for engaging in that way. I'm curious about next year. We're going to do Active in Mission again next year. I'm curious if you have any plans in the works for Active in Mission 2022 that might encourage some of our other churches who are maybe on the fence about whether they want to jump on board as well.
Well, I can tell you that I have sent an email one of your colleagues to get the dates, to get an idea of when. And when I got the dates back, I thought, oh, maybe for us, those aren't super great. But then in my conversations, and I know this is the fact even right now, is that, yeah, you folks identify a week, but, we can pick a week if we so choose, and call it Active in Mission Week for DBC here at Douglas. And so we'll probably do that next year, because what we really liked about it this year is it gave us something to do and rally around in the summer, which can sometimes be a slow time in ministry or a different time. So anyway, so yeah, we're thinking about it. We're already thinking, what week will it be? And Ellen and I have had some conversations. We're not sure how much we should let out of the bag officially, because around here, as soon as you say something, people hold you to it.
Good.
But, yeah. So, but we will say that we both enjoy cycling. And so we've been talking about some type of cycling, we'll call it adventure or trip or organized activity. And so, yeah, we may do something like that, but we still want to have that angle and that opportunity for people to participate in Active in Mission wherever they're at too.
I think that's an important thing for churches to realize, that any age can engage in it, right? And I think that's the nice part about it, is that you don't have to be super fit, physically fit to do this. You can be a mom pushing a stroller, or you can be a senior that's just getting outside and going for a little stroll. And I think that's the kind of beauty of it. And I think that's a great way just to engage your church community and to recognize that wherever you are in life, you still have a part to play and you still are valued in the kingdom. So
I think we'll follow, I think we'll do a softball game again. That was a lot of fun. It got, when it got all ages involved, we have little kids on the field trying to hit the softball for the first time. And then we had seniors that their Active in Mission effort was to get from the car with their lawn chair so they could watch the softball game. And that's cool. And that was great. And they had a great time, and they laughed at everybody else playing and had a wonderful time. So, those things, those fun things from this year will return next year, I'm quite sure, here at DBC. And we're already looking forward to it. We're already going to put it in our summer event calendar, you could say.
That is awesome. And certainly, yeah, any age, any activity, any dollars raised, those are all wonderful. And yes, any week, we set the week so that we've got something to focus on and build toward. But yeah, we have churches that are still just starting their Active in Mission campaign. They wanted to do it toward the end of the summer, and you can do it at Christmas if you want. You can do it any time of year. We will keep the site up. We will take all and any donations and any engagement in any way. So yeah, pick a week that works for you. And we look forward to your cycling adventure. I will check in and get more details as we roll around to next year.
Can we just say thank you to CBM for all the organization and the vision for this event? And also just the website was really helpful too in relation to raising funds and that type of thing. So shout out to those involved behind the scenes. And so we appreciate you folks very much.
Well, thanks. It's our pleasure. And we love our churches deeply. And if there's any way that we can support you as we work together in this, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. This is what we're here for. So thank you. We want to say thank you not only to Douglas, but to all of the churches that have taken part, all of the individuals who have done this on their own or with their families, and to every donor. Every dollar has made a huge difference in bringing hope and healing to our broken world and to supporting kids in education. So thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching CBM Calling. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much, Peter and Ellen. God bless.